Welcome to the GCN Tech Show.
This week we discuss why I believe 99% of people have the wrong bike.
Including all our usual hot tech finds, including a new group set from Campagnolo that's been spotted in the wild, a bike built for the apocalypse, free 3D printed tool holders, bike vault comments of the week, and I've got some Gubbins.
Of course you have. Right, okay, this week's main talking point, I want to discuss why I think 99% of people have the wrong bike. Quite a bold statement, I feel, but firstly, shall I tell you why this came to the forefront of my mind?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I was out on a big long gravel ride the other day. Halfway through the ride, I stopped at a cafe, I walked in, and there was a bunch of guys there who were cyclists as well, and they kind of recognised me from GCN and said how they'd enjoyed one of the videos that Si and I recently filmed about two different types of bike. And the guy said, is this bike any good? I'm going to leave the brands out of it because it's kind of irrelevant. Is this bike any good? Should I buy it? And I paused and thought about it for a second. And in my head, I was like, yeah, it's a great bike. But then I thought, you know what? Maybe it's probably not the best bike that you could buy for you, because you're probably going to be, not racing all the time. The bike he was referring to was like an all-out aero race bike, as stiff and fast as humanly possible. And I was like, you're probably going to go for some nice weekend rides with your friends. And yes, that bike's incredibly cool. Yeah, you'll probably kind of like it if you get it. But it's not the bike which is really designed and optimized for the type of riding that you do all the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I think 99% is quite a bold statement.
Yeah.
I think 99 is quite a lot. But at the same time, when you look at modern bike tech and how specialised it is, and there's so many different spectrums of bike now, I think some people can find that maybe a bit of a headache. And you get that classic argument sometimes, mostly online. And you see it a lot with gravel bikes, where you see gravel bike tech evolve and you see that whole gravel bikes just turned into 90s mountain bikes. Which I kind of get, but at the same time I don't, because it's not. It's moved on so far in the last 30 years. And now we are in this quite cool position where if you're looking for a new bike, you have so much choice. You can really hone in on something that's really optimized for the sort of riding you're doing and the sort of terrain you're going on consistently close to home, which is so different for everyone. And you can really get a bike which is almost perfectly made for the type of riding you enjoy doing.
I think that's maybe what's kind of caused this problem in my head, I think, for most people, is because there's now such a vast and broad range of bikes. It technically means because there was only maybe one or two in the past, it was well, of course that's the right bike for you. You haven't got many to choose from. But now it's there's a lightweight bike, there's a lightweight aero bike, there's an aero bike, there's a racy gravel bike, there's a gravel bike that can hack across the desert.
There's an outrageous aero bike.
Yeah, and so the thing is, I look at it from my perspective, obviously. I come from, a racing background. I still go bike racing, and performance for me comes at almost always the top of my list of priorities over comfort, practicality, and lots of things. But for most people, pure performance doesn't actually come at the top of their list. I think if you asked an endless number of people, they're going to go, I'm not that bothered about going really, really fast. But people still do like to have the most performance bike. But it's just not the best bike for you.
Yeah, I think speaking from my own perspective, I love a fast aero bike.
Yeah.
In the right conditions. Say I'm somewhere where there's perfect tarmac, nice rolly roads.
Not Bath then.
Not where we are currently. then I'd go for an aero bike. You can rail it round the bends. You can feel super fast. But around here it's lots of steep climbs. The roads are super rough. It's it's not the most enjoyable ride around here. So I personally always opt for a gravel bike and probably go something that's on the burlier scale.
Well, I think you've said that in the past, haven't you? You do the majority of your riding on your gravel bike. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, don't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Just because it's quieter, I can do a nicer loop. Like I said, if I was out in Mallorca, I wouldn't go on the gravel bike. I'd go for a nice aero bike if I had the choice.
But one thing that I think we should talk about is, because regardless of, say, performance that you get from a racy kind of top spec bike that you're going to see people racing at the Tour de France, regardless of that, the thing that is very, very different to like bikes not designed for racing is the geometry. Right? Forget about the weight, the aerodynamics, the stiffness, the geometry. Most average people's bodies are not really optimized for race geometry. Now, I personally find this on some really racy bikes. I'm like, God, this is a pretty aggressive position, and I'm still quite flexible and okay riding a race bike. But I think the number of times I've seen people with performance bikes with like tons and tons of spaces underneath the stem in order to get it high enough so that it's in a comfortable position for them. Whereas if they'd have just opted for a slightly different type of bike, it still could be a really nice bike, still could be premium, have all the nice bits on it, it would probably have a bit more relaxed geometry that was a bit more suited to them. And you've also found this in the past when, was it a year or so ago, you had a bit of a sore back, and I remember you saying, I just can't ride this racy bike because it's killing my back.
Yeah, it's just hard to get down into that position. Like when I was riding every day, I was able to, but as soon as you stop that routine, it is quite tough.
Tyre clearance is a big thing I think we should discuss, because the person that I was talking to that sparked this whole everyone has the wrong bike discussion was actually riding a really nice, like few years old bike. It was rim brake, beautifully made, looked great, probably rides really nice, probably really light. And the advice I actually gave him was like, why don't you consider just getting the newer version of what you've already got? Because it's going to be familiar to you, but you've just got the modern, fresher version that's sort of brought you up to date, and you've got some small little advantages, and that's probably like a perfectly comfortable bike that's great for you.
Yeah.
Go on.
I guess to like confuse matters further at the same time.
Yeah, go on.
To play devil's advocate.
Oh, we should. Yeah,
the bike you enjoy riding the most sometimes also is just the bike you kind of want to ride, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Either. Like if you're able to, and you're able to get like a super top spec bike, and you just want to ride the bike, then there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, like go for it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Yes, what technically might be the right or wrong bike for you. If you ride your bike with a smile on your face, is that not the most important thing?
Yeah.
I think it is. Well, there you go. That's kind of like our thoughts on it. Please do get involved in the comments section down below. Let me know whether you think you're actually riding the right bike or the wrong bike, if you care about it at all, and if you would prioritise technically having the right bike or having the right bike that puts a big smile on your face.
Exactly. And the main thing is, you're on a bike. That's all that matters. So don't beat yourself up if you're worried about this. The bike that you're riding is that's the main thing. You're on a two-wheeled thing.
Do you think people are going to hate on me in the comments for telling them they're riding the wrong bike? Nah.
No, I'm just worried for the small percentage who are now, like me included, who'll be like, maybe I've got the wrong bike.
Well, maybe you have. No, maybe you're in the 1%. You've got the right bike already. Right, enough of that. It's now time for Hot and Spicy Tech, and we're going to kick things off with a new group set that has been spotted. Well, you described it as in the wild, but most people would describe it as at the Giro.
The Giro is the wild, Alex. It is the wild.
Well, you should know. You've blooming done the thing.
So this is on Stefano Oldani's bike from Cofidis. Branding's pretty minimal, we believe he's the only rider to have this group set fitted. This is thanks to our friends at Cycling News actually who spotted this.
Some spy shots.
Yeah, some spy shots. It looks like it's a 13-speed group sets, keeping wireless. But I think the key kind of part to this is that it's been sort of with a thumb shifter. So the thumb shifter is back. Yeah,
I mean, Campag, like die-hard Campag fans will probably be quite happy about this.
I love the thumb shifter.
Yeah? You did your last few years of racing. Well, not the last few. There was a little period where you were on Campag.
I had a season on Campag,
cool.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see how this does develop.
So my last sort of interaction with Campag group set was when I did that dream bike build almost a year or so ago now, actually, and it was really cool. But the difference is here, the shifters look really slimmed down, the derailleurs look like they've got all sort of like a cut-out section and design them trying to...
The derailleur is beautiful, actually. I love the kind of like blacked-out carbon look that Campag has, but the fact it's got that like cut-out as well.
Yeah. So from the few pictures that we can see, it looks very beautiful.
Yeah.
Which is in line with Campag's kind of ethos.
But that's all we're saying.
Yeah.
That's all we can see. But interesting anyway that it has been spotted in the wild.
And the Giro.
There's also been more spotted in the wild. I like saying that.
Right, okay.
Makes me feel like David Attenborough.
Let's talk about time trial helmets next. So this was on the Instagram page, Cycling Spy, who saw this. And they're really good for spotting some cool stuff, actually. So there's a time trial helmet from, what's the team? Astana XTS X Lab. Now, I had already seen some information about this helmet. I believe it has been developed alongside Alex Dowsett, who's acting as a sort of like a technical performance guide and coach for the team, I think. There's probably a better term for describing it. But he's worked with them to develop this time trial helmet. And as far as I'm aware, the idea behind it is to try to develop a time trial helmet that is effective and efficient for the whole team rather than trying to optimize a helmet design which is just works perfectly for, say, your GC leader or rider, and then everyone else has to just go, well, the helmet's not that great for me.
Yeah.
So try to have like a bit of a broad appeal.
Interesting.
Which, if that becomes commercially available, which you'd assume it would, could be a good thing for people who are into time trials and maybe don't have access to a wind tunnel to like, optimise their position.
I mean, it looks good. I mean, in terms of TT helmets, which are on the outrageous scale, that one looks pretty benign. There's another TT helmet been spotted, this time from Scott. So this was spotted on the head of Tom Pidcock, I believe. Yeah. So this is Q36.5, currently in a Giro 2. This one's a bit more out there. It's following that similar design of like, as you described it, like a fairing on the back, just to extend to the shoulders.
I'm getting real vibes of almost like a normal aero road bike helmet with the extra bits added on. I'm sure that's hugely underselling what this helmet is, but I think it's just the design of the front bit and then the way it flares out. It's almost like these are sections added on.
Quite large vents on it, which should help with cooling. It's so hot in these helmets. One thing I'm getting vibes of is King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table. I think this is the helmet that's done it for me. They're all similar design, but it's like that classic medieval like iron helmet.
Okay.
Just look at Google it. There's a photo of one now.
I was going to say it was giving me vibes of something else, but it wasn't a medieval knight helmet. The things that I always get a vibe of is like speed skiing helmets. We'll have some pictures of Conor's medieval bike helmet and some ski speed helmets.
See, that gives me vibes.
I mean, look at that. That is more like a time trial helmet. They're not going to war in medieval times.
Yeah. To me, though, that looks like a scientist who's doing like volcano research,
Who knows? In a few years' time, that could be normal time trial equipment.
Big though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You have to have a strong neck for that.
Right, we've got even more chat about helmets still to come.
We do. This is from POC. So Giro limited edition, helmet and glasses combo, nice pink. This is the Illicit Toric. I like this.
I like the glasses. I think they're pretty cool. Sai would say these are probably a little bit on the small side for him, the glasses. He prefers much bigger sort of welding goggles.
Yeah, I like the pink on it though. I would definitely wear. I like these glasses actually because they don't have the rim. I like, if you get them big enough for the rim, it's all right, but without the rim, it's
frame-free lenses.
Nice field of vision.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. At the end of the day, like limited edition stuff, 9 times out of 10 is always cool. What else do we have in the hot tech then? Right, okay, this is a news story we saw, and I think it was worth mentioning in hot tech. It's not exactly a new product that's out there, but it seemed pretty important and worth a mention. So the bike brand Planet X have lost a lawsuit, I believe, and now have to pay out, I believe it's £4.5 million
sterling,
to an unfortunate person who was paralysed from a bike crash riding one of their bikes, I believe.
Yeah, so he suffered a life-changing spinal cord injury on a Planet X Tempest, which is like a gravel bike, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
So the case kind of centres on the fact that the bike was marketed as something that could like almost do it all and like ride like a mountain bike on trails. There was a certain wording and terminology that was used.
So the court case was around the terminology used to describe what the bike was capable of.
Partly, and it also seems that in the information about the bike, it wasn't made clear that, there's like specifics of what a frame is capable of doing. Okay. And that that it wasn't made like totally clear. So there was a fatal flaw in the forks. Forks broke.
Wow.
Which led to a really unfortunate incident.
Well, it's a dreadful story to hear, but it does perhaps highlight more so that it's so important to use a bike in the way that it's designed to be ridden.
Yeah.
And we've seen other brands out there who have specifically categorised their bikes into different levels and tiers with a clear description of what they're suitable for. So,
and also, I mean, it's really hard for us to comment on this
very
in
difficult,
particular, but like,
I thought it was
the fork obviously failed.
Yeah.
It's hard to comment on exactly what riding was going on, but the courts have deemed that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for us to comment on it, but I thought it was worth highlighting to bring to everyone's attention, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, some story.
Yeah.
Okay, next, some tariff talk, I believe.
Yes, we've mentioned the tariffs, obviously. It's been at the forefront of most news over the last few weeks. I spotted this from Tern. So they're a brand I really admire, make lots of cargo bikes, really useful utilitarian bikes. And they're obviously a big customer base in the US.
Yeah.
They put out a post a few days ago for their US kind of customer base, basically saying that the price is probably going to go up, so it's like hard to avoid. But they've kind of taken steps to alleviate that and given people warning. And it looks to me as if they've tried to kind of get stock in and reduce the price of it. So they've like kind of tried to bank it before the prices rise. I
think there's probably a lot of brands trying to do this.
Yeah, so it's a bit like just stocking up, and then like they have that reserve there, so you can purchase it before the tariffs impact that product.
I like the sort of openness about it, basically. They're like, look, we've got these in, we haven't had to pay the tariff on them yet, or it's at a reduced amount, so we can pass the saving on to you guys, and eventually the price is probably going to have to go up, I guess.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it won't.
Well, hopefully not.
Nobody really knows what's going, but...
Right, okay, next, this is blooming cool, this. So, 3D printed park tool holders for free.
Yeah, amazing. So this is like you can get the mould, the design, and then you can print it off yourself for all your park tools.
These look incredible.
They're really nice, actually. They're perfectly designed for all the different types of tools. I'll tell you what, this has made me realise why we don't have a 3D printer.
Well, why don't we have one?
I think this is like our moment.
This is our moment to have a 3D. I used to have one at home. I sold it. I feel like we now need a GCN Tech 3D printer. We can print stuff like this. If you guys want to get the designs to print the stuff, I think it's available on the Park Tools website.
It is,
so if you've got a 3D printer, make some, send some pictures into us. It'd be really cool to see. And seeing as both you and I think we would like to have a 3D printer, shall we say we'll try and order one if 10 people like this video?
I mean, I would get one at home, but I feel it's like the straw that breaks the Gubbins back, and Stacey would be like, right,
Stacey would not have a 3D printer in the house. You've got all the kids' stuff everywhere, and you're like, kids, get your stuff out of the way. I need to put my 3D printer here.
I would love one though. Anyway,
we can keep it at work. Keep it at work. It'll be like, it's fine, man. It's like for work. It's for work.
Nice stuff from Park Tools, anyway.
Yeah, that's cool. Does that draw? This doesn't draw commas.
It doesn't draw. It doesn't. No. Hold on. You have to pause.
Gubbins.
No, not my Gubbins yet. It's got a little surprise. Just wait a second. You might have to pause for a second. Right. Sorry. Minor pause there. It was Alex's birthday at the weekend.
It was. Thanks.
Happy birthday, mate.
Thanks. Didn't want to mention it, but you know.
And Unbound's fast approaching, so we've got you a few little goodies. One of them hasn't arrived yet. My friends at Toppy. So you'll have to wait till next week.
Thanks. Really appreciate it, guys. I know you planned ahead well. Yeah? Thanks.
So one more week you'll get it though, but it'll be worth the wait. But we do have one thing already. So little custom gold hanger.
Oh mate, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
Let me look at it right. Let me get this out of the packet.
So your bike is gonna be so bling, mate.
Oh boy! Look at this thing. This is incredible.
I don't want to take all the credit for this because Ollie had quite a strong hand in setting this up.
Ollie knows me too well. He knows that stuff like this, little bling cool bits for your bike. Wow.
So there you go, mate. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
And you'll get another little surprise next week.
Well, I like to drag it out. Birthday 2 weeks.
But you've been putting in the work, so it's nice to see you.
Thanks. That's really. I'm actually. Well, I'll allude to everybody a little bit. I'm building up a pretty special bike for Unbound. No one is going to get to see it until race day, and it's going to be top secret. So keep your eyes peeled for it.
I got a sneak peek this morning. It's absolutely outrageous.
Is it not off the charts?
It is really cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Thanks, Ollie, as well, because he's on holiday now.
There you go. Happy birthday, mate.
Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Anyway, from that, moving on to Gubbins of the week, and this is my favourite time of the week. It's like I'm loving doing this.
How have you hijacked this part of the show?
I love how I've hijacked it and it's not going away now. Anyway, I've picked out a few bits of Gubbins to shout about. First up, this is from Old Man Mountain. They've got a new rack. I love the engineering that goes into these. I'm kind of like slightly obsessed. So they've like extended their rack so it's even longer. So you fit more Gubbins.
This is the XL version.
The XL version. But what I thought was cool is that this is now primarily made in the US. So it's made
that is cool, actually.
Made in California by Stinner Manufacturing. So there you
Over a 30 kilogram capacity.
30 kilos. 30 kilos you can get on it. Imagine all the Gubbins, Alex, you can get on that.
It's just too much.
That's a lot of coffee. There's a lot of coffee.
Right, and there's a bike you're trying to add into Gubbins the week here.
This I also saw from the Bespoke show up in Manchester here in the UK. And there was they have different categories. And this show, these really nice handmade bikes. But the category that I really fancied was the Apocalypse bike. So they basically challenge frame builders to design a bike for the apocalypse.
Oh my goodness.
This is the winner. And I think it's probably one of the coolest bikes I've ever seen. Definitely deserves to go Gubbins of the week.
It has a circular saw on the back of it.
Has a saw. So this is from Sentient Works. I believe it's kind of like an Omnium cargo bike, which is kind of like a premium cargo bike. It's pretty nice. They're really nice. I was lucky enough to ride one recently.
This is off the charts.
It's got a saw. So it's basically got a wood saw at the back. Quite nervous that it's near the saddle. I wouldn't want to hit a bump and go back, but at least they've got a nice little box on there.
Well, I mean, they've taken safety very seriously because they've got a set of safety glasses here.
But this is brilliant. There were so many different bikes as well from the show.
So, little dynamo. I love all the chain drive. Does this... I'm trying to find an extra picture. Is it... It is just rear-wheel drive. The chains are for the table saw.
The chains for the saw. Of course. I wonder... You must be able to switch between the two. I mean, I doubt you have to ride it and saw at the same time. There must be a switch to the saw when it's on the stand. But look at that, beautiful. But that capacity, I love how they've put the carry capacity underneath the handlebars on it. Yeah. So it's the weight is really in the perfect place.
Down. Do you remember when, in the days of GCN Plus, we did the junkyard bike battle?
Yeah.
So I was on one team and Alec Briggs was on the other team. So in my head, this was the kind of thing that we were going to make. The reality of what we made was like this, but less than 10% as good.
Well, you can always dream.
Yeah.
But I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, that is probably amazing.
So,
well, there you go. That's a way to end Hot Tech this week, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. Right, it's now time for comments of the week. These are the comments you have been leaving underneath our videos from last week. So, the show from last week, someone's got a bumper 42-minute texture this week, which turns out to be the usual half hour or so of tech news bike vault, with an additional 15 minutes of mostly Ollie giggling about stiffies and lube cubes, which are a set of wheels and a cube device for lubricating a chain. No sniggering at the back.
And Barry Baker commented, I don't think most people would use the lube clube on their chains, but maybe on their stiffy.
Oh, guys... We're so mature. Right.
It's hard not to be, really.
And someone also said they can't record a GCN video more laden with innuendo than this one. Well, there you go. Also, out at the weekend was the video where I went to see The Tube, which is Met's new wind tunnel at their HQ in Italy. And I'll tell you what, it was blooming incredible to go there and see that. I noticed there was quite a few people comment saying, I can't believe you didn't test the Manta against the Trenta. It's like, I've already done that, guys. Don't worry, I just didn't do it in that video. There's more videos to come.
Oh, there we go.
Someone here said, Matthew Benham 6286 says, the fake test head doesn't have any hair, so all cyclists need to shave their head. No, I'm not having a shave. Should I shave my head for Unbound? Please say no.
I've thought about this a lot because I rode the Giro with really long hair, stupidly long hair, and I think it made no difference to having short hair and long hair.
Yeah,
I think it's
Great, okay.
Prove me wrong in the comments.
Neil M. Don says, was waiting for the pog hair question, but to add to that, what effect does wet hair and hairstyle have on sweat evaporation and cooling? All questions I don't have the answer to, but perhaps we can go back and find out.
Yeah.
There you go.
It did make me think, maybe big thick gel in your hair. Like wearing a swimming hat.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Carbon versus steel spokes video we had out the other weekend. Philip says the background music while trying to destroy the carbon spokes was spot on and cinematic, with a little smile emoji there. And Owen Nicholas says, I had a set of Elite Drive 50D wheels for about 2.5 years. I put them through utter hell in the mountains. And one thing they found interesting is that the carbon spokes sing a bit when I'm climbing on the mountains. I hear a faint thrum, and forgive me for my very nerdy reference. It's like the engine room on the Enterprise D in Star Trek.
Very specific.
Very, very specific. Also, you can read this comment out from underneath the last week's tech clinic. I saw it this morning.
Yeah.
It's both chuckle.
This was from Slotball. Alex, don't pick your nose on camera.
Apparently I picked my nose in last week's tech clinic.
Well, you all know your mum's...
Yeah, Mum, is that you? Mum? Right. Where are we?
Caught rotten there. Bike vault time.
Okay, it's now time for the bike vault. This is where you upload pictures of your bike. We pick them out and judge them to be nice or super nice. If they're super nice, Conor rings the bell. And if you want to upload pictures, well, click on the link in the description down below to take you to the uploader.
Nice one. Right, kicking things off. This was from Madonius, Santa Cruz, Stigmata. This picture was shot at the bike shop where I picked up my bike before heading off for a 600-kilometre ride with some friends. The reason I have all those gimmicks and bags on. It's not gimmicks, it's Gubbins.
Yeah, Gubbins.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah, I quite like
Gubbins.
it.
Nice Gubbins on there.
It's a nice from me, but, you know.
It's getting a super nice from me just from the Gubbins, like perfectly organised Gubbins. There's like 3 bottles, nice utilisation of the down tube storage there.
Okay.
Beautiful, yeah. Going in the bike vault.
What have we got here next? My La Vie Claire?
Yeah, my La Vie Claire. And this is from Morgaville. And I think the paint job on this is just beautiful. Look at that in those like La Vie Claire colours.
Yeah, okay, I really do like that.
That
Sorry.
is blooming
Took me a while
nice.
to realise what was going on here, but this is great.
So spec on this is it's a factory direct XM carbon speed frame. Wheels from China, 12-speed SRAM Force group set, 32mm, Conti GP 5000s. I'm hesitant to submit, so I had to paint the frame twice due to a mistake in the colour of the fork is a shade off.
Wow.
I didn't repaint the fork because of impatience and laziness, so here it is. I just took this picture without thinking of the bike vault, so I apologise for the setup.
Well, I mean, at least they've been honest.
It's hard to see the difference. I mean, it's hard to see that the fork is different to the frame.
Especially when there's a small shadow over that section.
Yeah, I mean, I personally feel like we should forgive a lot of bike vault crimes here, just because that paint job is stunning.
Yeah,
and
it's cool. Super nice.
I love how that is. I love how that's even on the seat post as well. Beautiful.
Is this one from Steak Hutzi with a Orca in a Gran Fondo setup? They chose a cloudy day to make the wheels and you presenters feel more comfortable, apparently. Okay. I'm getting real nervous vibes that the bike's going to fall into the lake.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the times I've used a shadow stand, I would not trust myself to put it right next to a lake. That is bold.
Yeah.
You are very, very confident there. And I think it is a shadow stand because I can't actually see a stick. So...
Well, look, okay, let's judge this bike. So
must be a good swimmer.
I like it. I'm struggling to find fault with it. It's annoying me that the water bottles are mismatched. That's something you do all the time. Also upsets me. It's in the correct gear. The valves are aligned. The logos on the tyres are aligned. There's minimal gubbins of their saddlebag, but that can be forgiven.
I think that's a super nice.
Shall we?
I mean, you can't not super nice it because of the water because he's taken the risk and it's paid off for him.
Got to risk it for a biscuit.
Yeah. Do let us know if it ended up in the lake afterwards, though.
All right, who we got
Hope it
next?
didn't.
Gravel Tim.
Gravel Tim, this is my MV Mog with a custom Cerakote paint job, courtesy of Stunt Doubles here in Seattle. It has an MV cockpit with SRAM Red Explorer group set and light bicycle WG44, rims on Industry 9 Solix hubs. And
I mean, this sounds like an absolute dream.
It's a proper dream build, that, isn't it?
Oh, boy, look at that.
Wow.
I mean, that's an absolute boss bike, that is.
Some paint job, that.
That is off.
I mean, there's like no dispute on that. That's going straight at the bike vault.
Right, that is really cool. You can super nice it, but I'll share one thought. You go first, super nice that. that was pathetic.
Slightly pathetic bell ring.
The angle of the saddle is incredibly nose down.
It's not that bad.
And the angle of the stem is quite up.
The angle of the stem, but I think that's the bars. It's an integrated bars.
I think.
Is it?
Maybe. I don't know. It's just give me sort of like a V kind of vibe. But it's a beautiful bike. I love
Beautiful bike. I love that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's an MV cockpit. That's fine. So.
Okay, Barry the Baker next.
Yeah, Barry the Baker.
I wonder if he is a baker or just likes baked goods. Anyway, found this Viner protein frame on eBay, Columbus Nemo steel tubing, possibly from 97, plan to rebuild at 105. Kept finding deals on Ultegra. Oh, classic. I normally plan to use Ultegra, but I always find good deals on Giro Ace.
What, in your parts bin?
Yeah. Wax chain to impress Ollie. Please forgive the Gubbins. Conor enjoys those anyway. Let's have a look.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it's nice.
Looks in absolutely mint condition as well. It's sparkling. Yeah. Beautiful build.
Yeah, I really like that, to be fair.
That's going in by far.
Yeah, go on. Okay, Scott Campbell next with a new state bicycle 4130 single speed taken during its first ride on the shore of Lake Michigan, Indiana. Chicago skyline can be seen on the horizon.
Wow.
Just in front of the seat post. Oh yeah, it can be, yeah.
Beautiful photo.
Another cool bike.
I love how there is a single speed in the bike vault. That's going straight in. Yeah, chrome rims are lovely.
Right.
Beautiful. I actually saw that State Bicycle did that whole pros on riding fixed gear bikes recently.
Oh, okay.
They revitalised it with an episode of Matthew Jorgensen.
That's cool.
It's quite cool, yeah.
Right, last bike in this week's bike vault is from someone called Alex, not me. Fantastic name though. It's their Canyon Ultimate CF SL with a fresh new set of Yolio C50 Pros. Their first ever carbon wheel set. They say it feels lighter and zippier for climbing and looks gorgeous. I like it.
Yeah, lovely. Beautiful shot. I was trying to figure out where that was.
Valves are aligned, tyres are aligned, it's in the correct gear. It's upsetting me about the road barrier, but I can forgive that.
I can forgive the road barrier because it's a nice open landscape behind.
Yeah.
Slightly shadowed on the bike, but that's a nice shot. That's a nice
super nice.
Mismatch.
Can I super nice the last one?
Yeah, you
Thanks,
super
mate. Right, that's it. I think that was a pretty much almost clean sweep of super nices. Conor, mega show, thanks very much. Please do get involved in the comment section down below. I've enjoyed being back on the show. Good to chat to you, mate. And let us know if you think you've got the right or wrong bike. We're out of here. See you next week. Bye.